LAB. But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Command Post day after reaction to the Commanders' epic 36-33 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 16. How you guys feeling 24 hours removed from that very momentous victory? I've seen you guys engaging with Eagles fans. Do yourself a favor. Don't bother, okay? You know what? Go right ahead. What am I saying? I mean, had they beaten us, they would have let us have it. They would not have taken the high road. They would have been extremely greasy with the way they would have been talking. So go right ahead. Have fun. I don't have the energy to engage Eagle fans, especially when I told you so. That's just my stances. I told you so. Like that's kind of just where I'm at with mine, and I just move on, right? But this is without a doubt the "I got 5 on it" edition. Day after, I'm feeling just as splendiferous as I was a day ago. It's had a little bit of time to sink in, but this isn't like Week 3 against Cincinnati where I didn't know what we had yet. And so that game was a game changer. It changed everything. This game didn't change anything other than we beat a team that if we want to win this division in the future, we're going to have to be able to beat. And in these types of games, in these types of environments, you're going to have to find ways to win. And it wasn't pretty, but and it didn't go as planned. But that's the mark of a good football team is you find a way. Right? The only other team that has won while turning the ball over 5 times this season is the Detroit Lions, and they're the best team in the conference. Like that's what good teams do in this league is they find a way to win. And this wasn't the little sisters of the poor that we did this against. We didn't do this against Carolina or Tennessee or Cleveland. We did this against the second best team in the conference at the time. They are no more the second best team in the conference, thanks to us. But I want to focus on some aspects of the game because, you get caught up in, the celebration of it and you kind of lose sight of some of the big plays that happened in the course of the game that you got to really take a step back and analyze and say, wow, right? So going back and watching the game again, I'm pretty sure most of you have done the same. But going back and watching the game again, I think one of the most underrated and underappreciated decisions in the game, and I think you could argue is probably the most important decision made in the game, is Dan Quinn's decision to go for it at the end of the third quarter, down 13 points at 27-14. With just under a minute to go. It's probably about 43 seconds left in the, maybe 30 seconds left in the third quarter. And it's 4th and 11 from the Eagles' 29-yard line, 39-yard line. So basically the Eagles' 40. And you're too far for a field goal, right? You're not going to do a 58-yard field goal with Zane Gonzalez. Punting feels insignificant at that point because you're in no man's land. What is that punt going to net you? 30 yards maybe, max, if you do it correctly? And you don't know if you should go for it, though, because it's so long. It's 4th and 11. It's not 4th and 5 or 4th and 6 or 4th and 2 or 3. It's 4th and 11. And I've seen people say that I would have punted there. And I don't think enough people gave DQ credit. Like, we crucified him. I did. I can't speak for you. I crucified him in the Cowboys game when he decided to kick a field goal on 4th and 2 and he decided to punt on a 4th and 4. I crucified him. But when he's made decisions that I've agreed with, I've made sure that even when it wasn't necessarily the most popular decision, I've stuck my neck out there and I've said, no, I'm rocking with DQ on this one. And I'm always going to err on the side of being aggressive. Not always is being aggressive the right move. But in that particular instance, down 13, needing a spark, whole quarter of football left in front of you, you needed something good to happen going into the fourth quarter. And I don't think we talked about this enough. I know I didn't. I can't speak for anybody else. We didn't talk nearly enough about that decision. That is not an easy decision to make. 4th and 11 is 4th and 11. That's not 4th and 5. That's not 4th and 3. You don't go for 4th and 11. You just don't. Either you're going to kick a field goal or you're going to punt the ball there. But you're not going for 4th and 11 unless the game's on the line. DQ went for it on 4th and 11. And what that says to me is, one, there was a level of desperation at that point, down 13. And I think some of that stemmed from, we only touched it twice in the third quarter because the Eagles put together 2 significantly long drives, one only covering 39 yards, but it took up 8 whole minutes of the third quarter clock. And we had just turned it over, with Dyami Brown. And that's what we had, a Dyami Brown turnover, and we had a punt. And we had done nothing in the third quarter. So, or as a matter of fact, yeah, they had the long drive to start the quarter with the 2 pass interference penalties. So it wasn't a super long drive, but it was long enough, right? The 2 pass interference penalties, they still didn't get in the end zone. Then you had the Dyami Brown fumble right thereafter. And it took them 8 minutes to go like 29 or 39 yards just to settle for a field goal. And so by the time we got the ball for the second time in the quarter, it was damn near over. And I think he started to feel like this game is getting shortened, and we don't want what happened to Pittsburgh last week to happen to us, where we punt this football. That's exactly what Pittsburgh did a week prior. They punted the ball in a situation where they could have gone for it. It was like 4th and 7, 4th and 9 from, the Eagle 45-yard line, somewhere close to midfield. And they elected to punt. They pinned them deep. They ended up down in the punt like at the 2-yard line. And the Eagles then proceeded to go on a 21-play, 96-yard, 10-minute, 29-second drive to end the game. And I'm not saying that that's what DQ thought, but you'd be a damn fool to think that that wasn't in the back of his head after they just went on a 29-yard, 39-yard, 8-minute drive, right? So I think he said, if we punt this ball, it's the fourth quarter. If they go another one of these drives, the game might be over. So he rolled the dice on 4th and 11. But you know when you can do that? When you got one of them ones. You just turn and you say, I got 5 on it. Look at these results. People are out here making free money, man. They're making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. I know it sounds crazy. Hear me out. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds differences across sportsbooks. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you put $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed, no matter what, to make $50, win or lose. It's that simple. With the Odd Jams mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands monthly. And to get started, use the code LouieT for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with just one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com, use the promo code LouieT, and start making money the smart way. And he'll take care of the rest. And that's what he did on 4th and 11. Empty set. Look, they knew we weren't running it. But to go empty, thought it was a mistake by the Eagles to not pressure him there. But they had been, some semi-successful with a 4-man rush. So they probably felt like they could just rush forward. You want to be a little safe, drop 7 in the coverage. It's 4th and 11. You don't want to give up anything. And he took off. And I don't know about you, but when he took off and he got to about the 7-yard mark of that run, and you're looking at the sticks. I know I looked directly at the sticks, and I'm like, oh, shit. There are 3 Eagle defenders standing there. One to his left, one standing right in front of him, and one off to his right. There's no way he's going to be able to get through this little conglomerate here of Eagle defenders, and I don't want him diving or doing anything crazy and injuring himself. We need him. And without hesitation, he just steps through, uses his speed. And I had talked about this when we played the Eagles the first time. Remember, he got tackled by N'Kobe Dean on a 3rd down. And Eagles fans were like, he ain't no damn one of them ones. We shut him down. He couldn't even run against us. And I'm like, he was hesitant because he wasn't himself. I said, ain't no way N'Kobe Dean is catching him in space. And on that play, N'Kobe Dean was one of the defenders. He ran right by. N'Kobe Dean was grabbing at grass on the turf. Ran right by him. And if we weren't scared to get a block in the back, if the receiver that was coming back towards him would have just gotten away of Reed Blankenship, that's that mile marker touchdown run we've been waiting on all year. It wouldn't have been from 50 or 60 like we thought, but it would have been from 40 essentially, and it would have came in a big time. But kudos to that receiver. I don't remember if it was Terry or Olamide Zaccheaus. I think it was OZ who just said, you know what, I ain't trying to get caught for a peel back block and negate this run. I'm gonna just let it be what it is. And Jayden got tackled at the 10. That ended the 3rd quarter, but that gave us all the momentum to do what we did. And, I didn't realize how many points we scored in the 4th quarter. I just realized that we mounted a comeback, but I didn't realize we outscored the Eagles 22-6 in the final frame. But it started with that run on 4th and 11, and that's a gutsy call by DQ. And I don't think he's been given enough credit for going for it there. They didn't even bring it up in his post-game press conference because there's so many other things running through your mind as a media member to ask him. Hell, we didn't even talk about it really after the game because you're thinking about so many different things. You're talking about Jayden Daniels' performance. You're thinking about the receivers stepping up. You're thinking about the defense and all the plays that they made. You're thinking about the drop by Devontae Smith. And there's so many different aspects to what took place. But there may not be a bigger decision that was made in that game than Dan Quinn rolling the dice on 4th and 11 and Jayden Daniels making it pay off for him. Because if you don't get that, you're giving the Eagles great field position, which it felt like they had great field position pretty much the entire damn day because of all the turnovers and the things that transpired in the game. It felt like they had great field position regardless. But to give it to them there, with them struggling to move the football in that second half, it was pretty dicey, but it was a risk worth taking, and it paid off in a massive way. And, this game, I hope, is the start of us kind of flipping the script and changing that narrative. You know what the narrative has been with this team in the 4th quarter. We've been one of the worst 4th quarter teams, point differential-wise, in the NFL. it became a thing against New Orleans, and I think people really started to dig into that narrative and started asking the coaches about it. So they had to hear about it, and it's not like they didn't know about the fourth quarter, but it became a thing last week against New Orleans because of how poorly we played in that fourth quarter and how things got so tight at the end, and all the opportunities that we had to put them away and we didn't. And it just kind of added to that narrative and added more fuel to that fire. And for us to reverse the roles in this game in particular was just kind of weird to watch how things transpired. I talked about this in the lead up to the game, how we had been one of the best first quarter teams, one of the fastest starting teams in the NFL, and how we had been one of the worst finishing teams, and how we needed to finish this game strong, but we also needed to start this game fast. And we did not start the game fast, obviously. The Eagles have been one of the most notorious slow starting teams in the NFL, and they started the game very fast, and they had been one of the best finishing teams in the NFL, and they didn't finish. And that's something else to really consider, is how we kind of flipped that narrative on its head in this game. Didn't start fast, and you don't want to start the way that we started in this game. You never want to see us play that way again, start a game like that, because you're not going to win very many games when you turn the ball over 5 times. That's a recipe for disaster and getting your ass kicked. And if not for the resiliency of this team, if not for a number of factors, including Jalen Hurts being hurt, right? But guess what? We did that. We knocked him out of the game, right? And again, I'm not looking to hurt anybody, but if you're going to run the ball, you're going to turn yourself into a runner, you open yourself up to getting hit. And he took a shot, and it wasn't dirty. And you hear these Eagles fans making up all these stupid ass narratives about it's a dirty hit, this, that, and the third. No, he got his ass lit up, and he ducked his head as he took that hit, and he hit the turf. And it was cold as shit outside, and that turf probably felt like cement. And that's the second time he's played against us, and he's got his shit rocked. And we were physical in this game. And that's something else I love to see. We were very physical in this game. And we were physical up front, right? We for an offensive line that has done whatever it's wanted to do, we were very physical up front with the Philadelphia Eagles after they manhandled us in the first quarter. They didn't do that shit again the rest of the game. We took the challenge and we took it upon ourselves to be more aggressive, to beat them to the punch. How many times did we tackle Saquon Barkley in the backfield? He looked like he was back with the New York Giants in the second, third, and fourth quarter of this game. Man had 106 yards on 7 carries for 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. And when I say the first quarter, I'm talking about the first half of the first quarter. He did all of that with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter. And the rest of the game, he had 44 yards on like 27 carries. Or what did he have, 7 carries? He had 29 carries, so 22 carries. 44 yards on 22 carries. That's 2 yards a pop. You got to give credit where credit is due to the defense for them standing tall the way that they did, with all the adversity that was dropped in their lap, making play after play after play, overcoming bad calls by the officials that put the Eagles in a scoring position to not give up touchdowns in that second half was huge. Because 1 touchdown given up in the second half, and we lose this game. 1. That's all it would have taken. It would have been too much for us to overcome mentally. But you look at the resolve of this team, the mental makeup. I can't stress how impressive it was to see guys step up. I talked about the D-line, and Sheldon Day has been one of the most unsung heroes on this team, and he continues to make plays. He was awesome yesterday. Deron Payne finally showed up in the run game yesterday. And not that he hasn't been showing up, this season, but, he made some plays yesterday. Showed up and made some big plays yesterday. I just thought collectively as a group up front, they played really well. Cleveland Farrell with a sack forced fumble. They really did some good things as a collective group up front. I know the battle yesterday with Marshawn Lattimore, that was epic with him and A.J. Brown. A.J. got the best of him. He got the best of A.J. The officials inserted themselves into the battle, which we didn't like. But when it was all said and done, it was damn well worth the price of admission. And I'd sign up for that again. We got to get him healthy. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there were more casualties in this game than we first thought. You know, De'Ami Brown got injured, which I think we all knew about. Clearly, Marshawn Lattimore did not finish the game. But then DQ after the game said that Andrew Wiley suffered an injury. And there was one more guy that he mentioned that I had no idea had Jordan McGee, he said, also suffered an injury. And I think all of them were hamstring related, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not quite sure on that, but he didn't have any updates on any of the injured players. I guess we'll get more of that maybe today. So we'll kind of assess those situations. And we may not get a significant update on any of the injuries until Wednesday, right? Or maybe Thursday. I can't anticipate them working on Christmas, but you never know. They worked on Thanksgiving, so Christmas and Thanksgiving are not the same though. So we'll see what ultimately happens. But we did come out of this game a little banged up. But it was so good to see the resolve of this team tested and see them pass. And we talked about the receivers. And, you know, I always talk about this. Don't talk to me about what we don't have. Let's just focus on what we do have. Do we want to upgrade running back? Yeah. Do we want to upgrade receiver? Yeah. Do we want to upgrade tight end? Yeah. But guess what? We're not in a position to do that right now. So what I want to focus on is what we do have. And when you got 5, he upgrades everyone's ability to perform. I don't know of many teams that are going to be highly successful and sport the number, probably 3 scoring offense, maybe 2 now after what we just did. We were already top 5. I think we were 5th in the league in scoring offense this season at roughly 28, 29 points a game. I don't know how many teams in the league are going to be able to be scoring damn near 30 a game with the likes of Olamide Zaccheaus, Jamison Crowder, you know, Zach Ertz, and, you know, obviously Terry is there, and that's the biggest part of this offense. But, you know, Brian Robinson Jr., who's been in and out of the lineup, you know, Jeremy McNichols, Austin Eckler, who obviously has been out here lately, but he missed some time early in the season with a concussion as well, right? So Chris Rodriguez, like John Bates at tight, like this is the group that we're averaging almost 30 points a game with. Like, let that shit sink in. Like, understand what this shit is. This is 5, man. I've been saying this all year long. We got one of them ones. And if you can't see it after this game, they effectively abandoned the run. Abandoned the run. And said, 5, you handle it. Leading passer, obviously, leading rusher in this game, threw for 5 touchdown passes. He did it all. Every big play. Let's not forget about the 4th and 4 when we were down 21-7. That DQ understood the assignment today. This was a lot like that Cincinnati game where he came in knowing, hey, we're going to have to be aggressive and we're going to have to go for it. And I think some of it was dictated by, obviously, circumstances. We were down early. We needed a spark, and you can't keep punting the football. But he went for it on that possession where he threw the dime to Terry on 3rd and 8 for the touchdown. We went for it earlier in that possession on 4th and 4. And Jayden, like he did later on in the game on 4th and 11, used his legs and picked up the first down. He was everything in this game. Everything. And I can't stress this enough, but as long as we got 5, we got a shot. But you know who also is starting to step up? The defense. And look, I get it. No Jalen Hurts. Who knows what would have happened if he would have stayed in the game. Again, not our problem, right? We did what we needed to do to find a way to win. But We still got issues, right? We still got issues. A lot of things to clean up. And that was one of the most refreshing things to hear after the game. DQ was asked, was this a statement game? Easy trap to fall into and say, yeah, we made a statement that, we're a good football team. We can overcome adversity. Yeah, nah, he was like, nah. A statement game is when you kick somebody's ass and you do it the right way. And you do everything right. Sort of like what Buffalo did to the Ravens, or excuse me, the Ravens did to Buffalo early this season when they beat them 35-10. Or, when you see just a flat out dominant performance, like what Green Bay did to Seattle, right? On the road on Sunday Night Football, when people thought maybe Green Bay could be on the ropes here, and then they go out there and they beat them up 30-13 and dominate. You're like, okay, nah, that ain't the type of time Green Bay on. This wasn't a statement game. And DQ was like, nah, we don't want to confuse that with this. We made plays, we overcame adversity, but by no means was this our best football. By no means is this who we want to be. We don't want to turn shit over 5 times and lose the turnover margin by 4. Like that's a losing recipe. This was no statement game, but we know we can be better, and we're going to strive for that. But they even went as far as to ask him, does this prove that you can play with any team in the league? And he's like, nah. Because there were circumstances in this game. Obviously, he talking about Hurts' injury, but he said, but we're getting close. But again, if you want to play with any team in the league, you can't turn over 5 times. You can't have the amount of penalties that we had in this game. You can't do the things that we did and expect to beat Detroit, expect to beat Minnesota, expect to beat Kansas City, expect to beat Buffalo, or any other upper echelon teams that you can go across the board in the league and see. We got fortunate that we were able to beat Philadelphia. And again, it ain't just because of Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts don't play defense. But what he would have helped them do was dictate offense, convert on some of them third downs that they weren't able to convert on. What he would have done is use his legs more effectively than Kenny Pickett did. And again, we might have rushed different. Remember, they showed the discrepancy in the game between when Hurts was in and what we were playing, which was basically man coverage. And when Pickett came in, we shifted our whole mindset to playing more zone, because we were trying to get him to make a mistake like he did to Frankie Louisville. So with Hurts, you got more of a scrambler. So you want to pressure him, but it's a little dangerous because if you're in man coverage against a dude that is mobile, your back is turned as a defender, you don't see him, it can become big yards. It happened when we pressured him on that first third down, the one that he got hurt on. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened, but the defense is getting better. But hopefully it's not short-lived because Lattimore's out. And the thing I point to is Marshawn Lattimore. He gave Joe Wick confidence. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's okay. But the biggest takeaway from this game, the day after, for me, is that this was a collective effort to go for it. No, we didn't come out with the intensity that we wanted. We didn't come out with the execution that we wanted. And it could have went sideways quick. It was 14-0. It was 21-7. It could have gone horribly wrong. But the players stayed the course, but more importantly, the coaching staff stayed the course. DQ didn't take his foot off the gas pedal, not once. He never let up. He never wilted. He never was afraid. He embraced the moment. He understood, hey, shit's not going our way, but guess what? We weren't going to win this game on a shutout. We weren't going to win this game like, the last game, having them kick field goals and things of that nature and miss them and miss extra points. We knew we were going to have to score. And you heard guys after the game say, DQ told us, and DQ said it himself, I told him be ready for a 5-quarter battle, a fight. And if it needs to go 5, we got to be ready to go 5. And they went all the way down to the wire of the 4th quarter, and they were ready to fight all the way to the finish. And if you take nothing else away from this game, is that This team is going to fight. And that should be embedded in your brain now, to where if we fall down in a game early, you shouldn't panic. You shouldn't be reaching for the panic button immediately. Because we've been down this season. And this team hasn't panicked, nor have they wilted under that pressure. As a matter of fact, you could argue that this team has embraced pressure this season, whether it's the Giants game, first one, Cincinnati game, knowing that if we kick a field goal here, Joe Burrow's going to get the ball, take it down the field, score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, and this game probably goes to overtime, and then we probably lose. But Jayden Daniels said, "No, we're not doing that." Touchdown. Right? The Baltimore game, down 27-13. That game was over. We were done. We were cooked. And he wouldn't let us go away, quiet and meekly into the night. 4th down conversion after 4th down conversion. 4th down touchdown toss to Terry. Got us back in the field goal range, cut it to a 1-score game, and could never get the one stop we needed to give him the football with a chance to tie it up. But they never quit. Bears game. All seem lost. But they didn't quit. And got into Hail Mary range and executed one of the most startling and amazing finishes you'll see in an NFL game. Cowboys game. Once again, right? Hell, Steelers game. We're right there. Got hosed on a spot. We didn't play well in that game. And yet, there we were with the football with a chance. And if they would have spotted that ball correctly and we would have gotten that first down, we would have gotten in the field goal range, bare minimum, and won that football game. You ain't telling me nothing. Cowboys game. Played like shit for 3 4/5 quarters. I mean, you can play worse in a game than we did in that game. And when all seemed lost, 86-yard touchdown strike to Terry McLaurin. This team will not quit. They will not die. They had every opportunity in this game to wave the white flag. Can't stop Saquon Barkley. You're turning it over at an alarming rate. Penalties are going against you. We just don't have it today. And they could have easily succumbed to that, but they didn't. And just off the strength of that, coupled with having 5, I got 5 on it. We got a shot. Got to get to the playoffs first. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. But we've done it our way this year. It's time to do it again. Let's not wait till week 18 to wrap this thing up. Let's do it in week 17. On our field, on a big stage, it's only fitting for everybody to see. People are starting to realize, and I saw so many people talking about Jayden Daniels, and this is the greatest rookie season they've ever seen from a quarterback. We've been saying that 2 months ago, month and a half ago. Welcome to the party, everybody else. We got one of them ones. And I just need y'all to embrace this and understand what comes with having one of them ones. Y'all not used to a lot of this shit that comes with being on a team where you got one of them ones. Y'all not used to all that comes with that territory. I need y'all to rewire your brains. Because the shit's about to hit the fan. And when it does, it's going to take off. This dude is must-see TV. This guy is must-see TV. Again, he's on par with Lamar Jackson in terms of watch value. But as I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, I think he's better from the pocket than Lamar. It just is what it is. And Lamar has got, like, this is Lamar's best season as a thrower. It's without question. I didn't know if Lamar had this type of season in him as a passer. In year one, Jayden Daniels is doing the things that Lamar Jackson is finally doing now in what is this, year 6 or 7 for him? Lamar was in that same draft with Patrick Mahomes, right? The year after Mahomes. I think Mahomes was 2017 and Lamar, I think, was 2018. Yeah, Lamar was 18 with Baker and Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Sam Darnold and all those dudes. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So yeah, year 7 of Lamar. Jayden's doing it in year 1. We got one of them ones. Saddle up. It's going to be one hell of a ride. I hope y'all are ready. Feels good, feels good to finally be in that conversation. When they show us on the marquee, we got a face. It ain't Chase Young. It ain't some defensive player like Ryan Kerrigan. It's actually a damn quarterback. That shit feels good, man. And I ain't gonna front. This shit's been a long time coming. You should feel really good. You've earned this. But what comes with this is you can't bail at the first sight of trouble. If you got one of them ones, you got to ride it all the way out to the end. The man already has 3 game-winning drives in just 16 games played or 15, games played in his NFL career. Already got 3 game-winning drives. We put up, 340 burgers, and he's been a part of 2 of them. Continues to break all types of records. I don't know I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this when we drafted him. But after seeing him against Cincinnati, I knew what we had. And now the rest of the league is figuring it out too. Damn, it feels good. What says you? Leave it down in the comment section. How you feeling today? A lot of work left to be done. A lot of work left to be done. We have not clinched the playoff berth yet. So I'm not going to go and get ahead of myself. Eagles fans want to talk about the first round of playoffs. We'll see y'all in the playoffs. Well, we got to get there first. You're already there, so you can make that statement. But the beauty of what we've done is we've effectively made sure that they won't be the number 1 seed and get no first round bye. None of that shit. All roads to the Super Bowl and the NFC won't be going through Philadelphia. I mean, it could if the number 1 seed gets bounced somehow, but they won't be the number 1 seed. We did that. Damn, that shit feels good. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? But in any event, those who don't hear feel. We tried to warn them, right? They ain't want to listen. So they had to find out. F around and find out. See, the more you F around, the more you're going to find out. That I got 5 on it. Got a QB we can keep. I got 5 on it. Eagles looking for that sweep. I got 5 on it. He stay avoiding all those sacks. I got 5 on it. Don't you wish he was your quarterback? That's my quarterback. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Day after, feeling just as good as I did the day before. 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! We 1 game away from the postseason.
LouieTeeNetwork.